12 hours. That's all it takes for your world to start cracking apart. The fridge you once trusted, now it's just a box of rotting food. Your phone clings desperately to its last bar of life, and the silence around you, it isn't calm, it isn't peaceful. It's the kind of silence that presses against your chest, the kind that makes every little sound echo like a warning. This is the moment where most people make their first mistake, and day one doesn't give you second chances. One wrong move, and the spiral into chaos begins. Most people think a blackout is only about the lights going out, but that's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. The real danger isn't the darkness you see, it's what's creeping in quietly, the hidden threats you didn't prepare for, the details you overlooked, the problems waiting to pounce the second you let your guard down. Day one doesn't give you time to figure it out. It hits fast like a freight train, loud, merciless, unstoppable. Your fridge is already warming. Your phone is seconds away from dying. The tension in the air feels like it could snap. And the truth, most people have no idea what's about to hit them. One poor decision, one overlooked problem, and you're not just sitting in the dark, you're standing at the edge of real trouble. That's why this video exists. It's not to scare you, it's to wake you up before it's too late. What do you fix first? What do you avoid? What's the one mistake that could cost you everything? If you don't know the answers, you're gambling with your survival. So let's start with the very first enemy you'll face. Not food, not light, water. The one thing you can't go more than a few days without. When the power goes out, people rush to hoard food, but they forget the most crucial resource. Water is survival. Without electricity, your well pump is useless. Municipal systems, they'll give you a few hours at best. Before demand skyrockets, pipes lose pressure, and taps run dry. And here's the truth, most people don't want to face when the water stops, so does everything else. Picture this, you're surrounded by food, the fridge is stocked, the cabinets are packed, and for a moment you feel safe. But here's the hard truth, without water, none of it matters. You can't drink food. You can't cook without it. You can't even flush a toilet. Suddenly, even brushing your teeth becomes a luxury. Water isn't just something you notice when it's gone, it's the backbone of every comfort, every necessity, every single part of your daily life. And when it's ripped away, your body doesn't negotiate. Dehydration doesn't play by your rules. Most people believe they can tough it out for a while, but the clock starts ticking faster than you think. 3 days without water is a death sentence, but the real danger comes long before that. Dizziness, blinding headaches, confusion, your mind clouds, your muscles weaken, and even the simplest tasks feel impossible. Your body starts betraying you while you're still telling yourself, "I'll be fine." So what do you do before that tap coughs out its final drop? You stockpile, now not later. Fill every container you can find. Bathtubs, pots, pans, storage bins. If it holds liquid, use it. At minimum you need 1 gallon of water per person, per day. And don't forget your pets. They're just as vulnerable as you are. If you own a water filter, this is the time to put it to work. Keep purifying, keep storing, keep building a cushion that buys you time. But here's the part no one likes to face. When water runs out, people don't stay calm. Desperation twists neighbors into strangers and strangers into threats. Fights break out over half-empty bottles. Streams and creeks turn into battlegrounds. And in that chaos, the unprepared are always the first to fall. Water isn't just a convenience, it's survival itself. When the lights go out, this is your very first battle. Win it, or watch everything else crumble. Food spoilage. It's the silent clock ticking in your kitchen, and once the power goes out, that clock starts racing. The hum of your refrigerator, the sound you've ignored your whole life, vanishes, and with it goes the only thing standing between your fresh food and a slow, dangerous rot. Here's the harsh reality, your fridge is on borrowed time, and once it gives out, what was once a resource becomes a liability. 4 hours. That's all you get. According to the USDA, that's how long your fridge can keep things safe before bacteria begins to swarm. Forget the idea that spoiled food takes days. By the first night of the blackout, milk, eggs, meats and leftovers are already gambling with your health. Every bite becomes a risk, and food poisoning during a crisis, that can take you down faster than hunger ever will. So what's your move? Prioritize. This isn't about cravings, it's about survival. Open the fridge and start with the fastest to spoil items, meats, dairy, fresh produce. That steak you were saving for the weekend, eat it now. Those chicken breasts hiding in the back, They're first in line. Even those questionable leftovers, you might not love them, but in this moment they matter. Survival doesn't care about your menu plans. Once the fridge is cleared, your attention shifts to the freezer, and here's the one piece of good news. A full freezer buys you time, about 48 hours if you keep the door closed. But the second you start peeking every 15 minutes, that time vanishes. One careless mistake, one unnecessary check, and you'll waste the only safety net you have left. The blackout doesn't just take your lights, it steals the food off your plate. And if you don't stay sharp, you'll find yourself surrounded by full shelves of food you can't safely eat. Don't be the person wasting precious cold air, standing in front of the freezer like you're deciding what to eat on a normal day. Grab what you need, shut the door, and lock that cold in. If your freezer is only half full, you're not buying 2 days, you're buying maybe 24 hours, tops. That means you've got to plan, and plan fast. Now comes the next question. How do you even cook all this food? Your stove is nothing but a useless hunk of metal, the microwave, just a reminder of the world you no longer have. This is where preparation separates survivors from victims. A camp stove, a grill, even a simple fire pit, these become your new kitchen. But here's a warning carved in stone. Never ever use outdoor cookers inside. Carbon monoxide won't care how desperate you are. It'll end you quicker than spoiled meat ever could. Food won't wait for you. And chances are, this blackout isn't ending tomorrow. That means survival starts in your kitchen. Think like it's a war room, prioritize, ration, and squeeze every ounce of safety out of what you have. A blackout doesn't give second chances. Either you get it right now, or you go hungry later. And just when you think you've handled food, another enemy comes creeping in. Darkness. Number 3, lighting and heat. When the grid dies, the sun becomes your last reliable light source. And when it sinks, night doesn't just fall, it swallows everything. Forget the soft glow of smart bulbs, the cozy comfort of nightlights. In a blackout, darkness is more than inconvenient, it's dangerous. Without light, every movement is a risk, every shadow a threat. Light isn't just about seeing, it's about safety, it's about awareness, and it's about keeping your sanity when the world outside feels like it's closing in. Here's the hard truth. Flashlights and headlamps might look simple, but when the grid goes down, they become your lifeline. Light is survival. A single flashlight can mean the difference between moving safely through your home or stumbling into disaster. It gives you instant visibility, lets you check your surroundings, and even serves as a signal if help ever comes near. But here's the catch. A flashlight without batteries is nothing but dead weight. Right now, while you're still comfortable, you need to stock up, not a pack or 2 piles. Hunting for spares in total darkness isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. You need backups for your backups, because when the lights are gone, every second counts. And don't underestimate lanterns. Battery-powered or rechargeable, they're worth every cent. A good lantern doesn't just cut through darkness, it floods an entire room with steady light, making it easier to cook, organize supplies, or simply calm a frightened family. That kind of peace in chaos is priceless. Now let's talk about candles. You might picture some cozy warm glow, like a scene out of a movie. Reality, they're a fire hazard waiting to happen. One misplaced candle, one distracted moment, and you've turned a blackout into a house fire. And if you've got kids or pets, that risk triples. If you absolutely must use candles, treat them like loaded weapons, solid holders, nothing near them, and never ever leave them burning unattended. But the truth, you're better off avoiding them altogether. Choose safe, reliable light that won't betray you. Now comes the part most people don't prepare for: heat. A detail ignored until it's too late. But here's the reality. In cold weather, a blackout can turn from uncomfortable to deadly. Your central heat dies with the power, and as temperatures drop, so does your strength. And before you even think about cranking open the oven or building a fire with no ventilation, remember this: carbon monoxide doesn't give warnings. It kills faster than hypothermia. The smarter way: layers. Thin layers stacked one on top of another trap more heat than a single heavy coat ever could. Your best defense isn't one big fix. It's preparation, planning, and knowing how to keep your body's warmth from escaping into the night. Bulky layers won't save you. What works best are thin layers stacked together, easy to adjust if you get too warm, but powerful at trapping heat when the cold bites. emergency blankets, thermal sleeping bags, even that old camping gear you shoved into the attic, these suddenly become your lifelines. And don't overlook the old tricks. Heating bricks or water bottles near a safe open flame, then tucking them close as radiating heat sources that still works. Simple, reliable, but only if you do it safely. Darkness and cold won't pause while you hesitate. They'll close in. Get smart, get ready, because in a blackout, light and heat aren't luxuries. They're survival itself. Ignore them, and the night will break you. Number 4. Toilet sanitation. It's not glamorous. It's not something people like to think about, but when the water stops, your toilet, something you've taken for granted your entire life, turns into a biohazard waiting to happen. What used to be just a flick of a handle becomes a crisis climbing higher on your survival list than you ever imagined. Here's the brutal truth. Without running water, your toilet is nothing more than a porcelain bucket, and waste builds up fast. The smell alone will choke you, but worse than the stench is the danger it brings. Bacteria doesn't wait. It spreads instantly. And in a blackout, when hospitals are stretched thin or unreachable, hygiene becomes your only shield against infections that could take your family down harder than the darkness ever could. What starts as a disgusting inconvenience can spiral into a health emergency in a matter of hours. And unless you want your home to turn into a breeding ground for disease, you need a solution. Fast. The answer: go primitive. Build yourself an emergency toilet system before it's too late. It's not pretty, but survival never is. The basics are simple and critical. Your new throne isn't porcelain. It's a 5-gallon bucket lined with a heavy-duty trash bag. Primitive, yes, but in a blackout, it's survival. To keep the stench under control, you need something absorbent. Sawdust, kitty litter, shredded paper, even plain dirt if you're desperate. These simple materials do more than hide the smell. They soak up moisture, slow bacteria growth, and make an unbearable situation tolerable. Here's a pro tip most people overlook: seal it. A tight-fitting lid or cover isn't just about comfort. It keeps flies and insects out, and in a crisis, bugs can carry disease faster than you realize. And if you've got pets or kids, be extra cautious about where you set this thing down. The last thing you need is a spill, because cleaning up human waste without running water is a nightmare. Then comes disposal, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. You can't just dump it in the yard or near your already fragile water supply. That's how contamination spreads, and once your water is compromised, you're facing a disaster inside a disaster. In cities, your best bet is to use dedicated emergency waste bags designed for exactly this. In rural areas, bury waste, but do it far from water sources, and dig deep enough so it won't surface. Carelessness here can make your home unlivable. And hygiene, it's not optional. It's the one thing standing between your family and a wave of sickness. If you can spare the water, wash your hands every single time. If not, hand sanitizer is gold. Use it like your life depends on it, because in this case it does. One careless mistake, one pair of dirty hands, and you could infect your entire household. And don't forget the basics that most people completely overlook: wet wipes, feminine hygiene products, diapers, gloves. These aren't luxuries, they're weapons. Weapons that keep your home clean, your family safe, and your survival chances intact. Day 1 of a blackout without preparation doesn't end in inconvenience, it ends in chaos. Your health, your comfort, your safety, all of it unravels if you gamble with the basics. Number 5. Low phone battery, and no communication. Silence that can kill. We live our lives believing our phones will always be there, always just a tap away, but in a blackout, that glowing screen turns into a countdown clock. Each percentage of battery that disappears is another thread of your lifeline cut, and when the final bar dies, all you're left holding is a useless brick. Here's the harsh reality: silence in an emergency isn't just unsettling, it's dangerous. When cell towers fail, when chargers stop working, when updates vanish, you're not just offline, you're cut off. No way to call for help, no way to get alerts, no way to check if the danger is creeping closer. The world doesn't just go dark, it disappears. And that's when panic sets in. People who were calm in daylight spiral into frantic desperation, because being disconnected feels like being abandoned. But panic won't save your phone, smart decisions will. From the very second the power cuts out, you have to start conserving. Close every background app, drop your screen brightness to the lowest setting, Switch to airplane mode whenever you don't need a signal, and forget scrolling social media to pass the time. Every swipe is stealing your survival. Portable power banks? They're no longer a convenience, they're lifelines, but treat them carefully. Ration every charge. Use your phone only for what truly matters. Emergencies, maps, critical updates, because one careless charge, one moment of idle use could leave you stranded phoneless when you need it most. In a blackout, silence isn't peace, it's vulnerability, and if you don't prepare for it, it will swallow you whole. Think of your power bank as more than a gadget, it's your lifeline. But if you want to go beyond barely surviving, you need to think smarter. Sometimes the old school methods work best. Walkie-talkies, for example, may seem outdated, but in a blackout, they keep families or neighbors connected over short distances when phones fail. And for the serious survivor, learn your way around a ham radio. It's not just a hobby, it's a real tool. You can listen to emergency broadcasts, send out messages, even make contact with rescue resources while everyone else is left stranded in silence. And here's a detail most people ignore until it's too late. Write down the important numbers. Your phone's contact list is useless when the battery is dead, but a piece of paper never loses its charge. It might not sound high-tech, but in the middle of a crisis, that little notebook can be worth more than the phone itself, because communication isn't a luxury, it's survival. And when your phone is silent and the grid is dark, every smart choice you make could be the difference between panic and pulling through. Now let's talk about something most people never prepare for. Your mind. Number 6. Entertainment and mental health. Fighting the silent weight of darkness. See, a blackout isn't just about the physical battles, no food, no water, no heat, it's about the war inside your head. When the TV clicks off, the Wi-Fi disappears, and your phone finally dims to nothing, something darker starts creeping in. It's not just silence, it's isolation, it's frustration. It's the slow, suffocating tension that can turn a tough situation into a nightmare. Distractions aren't luxuries, they're safeguards for your sanity. Strip away streaming shows, music, notifications, and endless scrolling, and suddenly the hours stretch out raw and empty. The days feel longer, the nights feel endless, and that's when the breakdown begins. Restlessness grows, tempers flare, families snap at each other, the weight of it all presses in, and it can break you faster than hunger or thirst ever will. But here's the thing, you don't have to stand frozen in that heavy silence, letting it eat away at you. You can fight back. Start simple. Dust off the old games stacked in the closet. Card games, board games, those outdated relics suddenly become more valuable than any app trapped inside a dead phone. Playing together isn't just about killing time, it's about sparking laughter, creating challenges, and reminding everyone that even in the middle of darkness, connection still exists. And when the boredom creeps in again, get creative. Pull out a notebook, get the family talking, swap old stories, play two truths and a lie. Relive those hilarious, embarrassing moments no one's mentioned in years. Humor cuts through heavy air like a blade. It doesn't just lift spirits, it proves that joy still lives, even when the world feels like it's shrinking. Never underestimate the power of sound. A small battery-powered radio can become one of your greatest allies. Even a crackling news update, a faint music broadcast, or the low buzz of static reminds you the world hasn't vanished. That tiny thread of connection may be all it takes to steady your mind. And if you're alone, keep your hands and brain busy. Journal your thoughts by candlelight. Sketch, write short stories, even bad ones. It doesn't matter. The act of creating pulls your focus away from the suffocating quiet, and that sense of productivity can transform despair into resilience. Here's the truth no one tells you: entertainment isn't just about passing time, it's survival. Mental health nosedives when boredom and stress take control. The better you manage that silence, the sharper, calmer, and more capable you'll stay. So when the lights go out, don't just endure the dark, use it. Number 7. Medications, hygiene products, and pet needs. The overlooked essentials. See, when the power fails, most people scramble for the obvious: food, water, flashlights. But it's the items you forget that often hurt the most. Medications, daily hygiene essentials, and the needs of your pets may not seem urgent in the first hour, but within a day, missing them can turn a blackout from stressful to dangerous. Ignore these essentials, and you're setting yourself up for misery, or worse, a medical crisis. Let's start with medications. Those bottles sitting in your cabinet, they're not extras. For many, they're lifelines. If you rely on insulin, heart medicine, inhalers, antidepressants, or any daily prescription, running out isn't inconvenient, it's dangerous. And don't fool yourself into thinking you can just run to the pharmacy during a blackout. Chances are, their lights will be out too. Some meds, like insulin, need refrigeration. Without power, they can spoil fast. That's why you prepare now. Talk to your doctor about keeping an emergency backup supply. Keep a small cooler and reusable ice packs ready to stretch those critical days when the fridge is silent. And don't underestimate over-the-counter medicine. Painkillers, allergy relief, cold medicine, anti-diarrhea pills, all of these suddenly turn into gold when your body betrays you under stress. The time to think about ibuprofen isn't when you're already in pain. Now let's talk hygiene. When the water stops flowing, comfort disappears quicker than you think. Soap, toothpaste, deodorant, feminine hygiene products, and baby wipes stop being conveniences and become survival gear. Diapers for babies, or for anyone with special needs, are non-negotiable. Poor hygiene isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. It invites infections, rashes, and illness you really don't want to face when the grid is down. And what about your pets? Stop thinking of them as just animals. Their family and their needs don't vanish when the lights do. Stockpile their food, fresh water, medications, litter for cats, and waste bags for dogs. A hungry or panicked pet only adds to the chaos, but a well-prepared one stays calm. Don't forget leashes or carriers either. If you're forced to evacuate, you'll need a safe way to get them out. Here's the blunt truth. Gather these essentials and pack them into one easy-to-reach spot. When the world goes dark, you won't have time to hunt through closets and drawers. Preparedness isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Think about this. The first night of a blackout isn't just about losing electricity, it's about losing your sense of safety. The moment the streetlights go out and your home sinks into pitch black silence, your imagination runs wild. That creak in the hallway, that rustle outside, suddenly every sound feels like a threat. But here's the harsh truth. Sometimes, they aren't just sounds. Blackouts create the perfect cover for those who see darkness not as danger, but as opportunity. Without power, your defenses weaken. No cameras, no alarms, no streetlights, just silence. And in that silence, looters, burglars, and opportunists thrive. They know the phones might not work, that police could be delayed, or never come at all. So what do? You fight back before it happens. Reinforce your home like your life depends on it, because it just might. Double-check every lock. If you don't have deadbolts, install them. For sliding doors, a simple wooden dowel or metal rod can stop someone from forcing their way in. Your goal isn't to make your home a fortress, but to make it a harder target. Every second you slow down an intruder increases the chance they'll give up and move on. Next comes light. Intruders love the dark, but they hate being seen. Motion sensor lights are one of your strongest weapons, and the best part, many are solar-powered or battery-operated, so they don't rely on the grid. Place them by doors, windows, and blind spots around your home. Darkness may invite danger, but sudden light sends it running. Inside your home, prepare too. Keep flashlights and lanterns in key spots so you're never fumbling in the dark. Think about where you'd need quick light. In hallways, bedrooms, near exits. If something happens at 3 a.m., you don't want to waste precious seconds digging through drawers. Here's the reality you need to accept during a blackout. The danger isn't just outside, it's the fear that grows inside. But fear is fuel if you use it right. Prepare now, and when the lights go out, you'll know your home isn't just dark, it's defended. The silence of a blackout is terrifying, but what follows can be far worse. When your heating or cooling system shuts down, your home, the place you trust for safety, suddenly turns hostile. Freezing nights and blistering days don't just bring discomfort, they bring real danger. Cold can stop more than pipes, it can stop your body. Heat doesn't just make you sweat, it can push you toward dehydration, dizziness, even heat stroke. This is the brutal reality. Without HVAC, survival depends on quick thinking and smart action. If the cold sets in, your first fight is against the drafts stealing your warmth. Seal off every unused room and concentrate on one central area. Roll towels and push them under doors, stuff blankets around window frames, and if you have plastic sheeting or even trash bags, tape them over windows to trap the heat inside. Don't underestimate these small steps, they can mean the difference between shivering all night or staying alive. And remember, layering isn't just for going outdoors, inside it's your shield. Put on loose, breathable layers, sweaters, jackets, extra socks. Dig out those camping sleeping bags or thermal blankets you keep tucked away. They're not just for camping, they're survival gear. Sharing body heat under blankets or huddling in one room can raise the temperature more than you think. Now flip the coin. What if it's heat that turns your home into an oven? The danger is just as deadly, only faster. Without AC, the temperature inside climbs quickly. Step 1. Block the sun. Cover windows with heavy blankets, cardboard or aluminum foil to reflect the heat back out. Stay in the lowest level of your home, where it's naturally cooler. Hydration becomes your lifeline. Drink water steadily, not just when you're thirsty, because by the time you feel thirst, dehydration has already begun. Your survival in extreme weather isn't about comfort, it's about discipline and preparation. The world outside may feel unforgiving, but inside your walls, you can take control. Seal, insulate, hydrate, and adapt. When nature tries to break you, your preparation is the shield that keeps you standing. Imagine this. The lights go out, the silence sets in, and you think you're ready. But then it hits you, the mistakes you made long before the blackout even started. This is the brutal wake-up call. Blackouts don't just expose the darkness, they expose your unpreparedness. And the price? It isn't just a little inconvenience. It can be your safety, your comfort, even your survival. The first and most painful mistake? Batteries. You were sure you had them. Maybe you even remember tossing a pack into the drawer months ago. But when you finally grab your flashlight, they're either dead, corroded, or the wrong size. Now your lifeline to light is gone, and the night feels twice as long. It sounds small, but in an emergency that's a crushing failure. Another silent killer is water. People think they have enough until they don't. A couple of bottles in the fridge won't cut it when your taps stop running or the supply is contaminated. And here's where most people get it wrong. You don't just need water for drinking. You'll need it for cooking, cleaning, and even flushing toilets. Suddenly those few bottles vanish in a day. Food storage? That's another trap. Many households stock up on frozen or refrigerated items, thinking they're set. But when the power dies, so does that safety net. Everything spoils faster than you expect. And without shelf-stable food, you're left staring at a fridge full of wasted supplies. Then there's light itself. Too many people trust one flashlight or one candle and assume it'll be enough. But what happens when the candle burns down or the batteries die? Total darkness. No backup, no options. It's mistakes like these that turn manageable blackouts into nightmares. And let's not forget the overconfidence trap. Thinking, it won't happen to me or I'll figure it out when the time comes. That mindset is the most dangerous prep mistake of all, because in the middle of a blackout, hesitation and regret won't save you, only preparation will. The truth is, blackouts don't forgive mistakes, they magnify them, and once you're in the middle of one, there's no going back to fix what you didn't do. That's why preparation isn't optional, it's survival. Here's the thing about blackouts, they don't just test your supplies, they test the little details you thought didn't matter. And when those details fail, they fail hard. Take batteries and power banks. If you didn't check them, you might as well be holding dead weight. That backup power bank you trusted, if it's been sitting in a drawer for months without a charge, it's nothing but a useless plastic brick. Now you're facing 10 hours of pitch-black darkness with a fading flashlight and 0 ways to recharge. It's a small oversight, but in a blackout, it's devastating. And what about chargers? People assume their phone cable will magically hold up when it matters most, but all it takes is one frayed wire, one missing backup, and suddenly your lifeline to the outside world is gone. Even worse, you wasted precious battery watching videos or scrolling, and now the screen that once connected you to help is nothing but a dead mocking glow. Communication cut, updates cut, emergency calls, impossible, all because you didn't take 5 minutes to inspect your gear. Then comes sanitation, one of the most overlooked survival killers. Toilets don't flush forever. Once water stops running, you're stuck. No backup plan, no waste bags, no portable solution, and your own home turns into a nightmare. The smell destroys morale, the mess grows and hygiene collapses fast. No soap, No wipes, no sanitizer. Congratulations, you've turned your safe zone into a breeding ground for disease. But the most chilling mistake of all? Security. That broken latch you never got around to fixing. That rusted lock you swore you'd replace. It's too late now. In the black silence of a powerless night, those weaknesses aren't just small problems. They're open doors. Entry points. Invitations for anyone desperate enough to try. You thought your home was your fortress. In reality, it's wide open. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear: every single one of these failures was preventable. They weren't accidents. They were procrastination, the little things you told yourself you'd fix later, but later is gone. The blackout is here, and now you're paying the price.